at first he just almost describes her, dare I say, metaphorically. She's like a spider who sucks out everything of her prey or something. And then it's like a pause. It just goes, spoiled cunt. It's just like, oh,
and then he's like,
talking
oh,
from your own experiences, perhaps.
Yeah,
He shouldn't have said that. Should have just described her as a spider who sucks the life force out of everything
that's
around
the
it.
way you do it.
Cunt was a bit
Shouldn't
too
have said the
far. You
C
can't
word.
say that on YouTube. You get demonetized.
It's
Calling people
knows.
arachnid, arthropods in general is definitely frowned upon. We're not doing it here. We're just referencing the show, Susan. So
And so yeah,
you know,
to
just
clarify, right?
can't.
I saw him as a guy who was going down a really dark path, but I understood how he got there, and that these were more clever, underhanded ways of sabotaging things, which I find interesting and engaging. Then you get to episode 9, and he's just an idiot, kind of. And he's doing weird things, and then you're like, oh, well, there was also that time he did something weird and idiotic in episode 5, I want to say, when he beat someone to death at a wedding.
He beat a noble to death in the middle of a wedding, and also mildly assaulted the prince.
You have conversations where you're like, well, what if it was argued by the queen that he put his hand on the princess, and thus Crimson Cole had to save her, like, the guy had a knife, and it's just like, how come none of this was in the show, though?
Yeah, like it
You
is
have to
very
argue
easy
so
to
hard.
write an excuse for
Yeah,
what
in the
happened.
chaos
but
of
they
the
didn't
scene.
write it. They didn't put the excuse in the show.
I don't even
just
think
seems like he
it's
gets
easy
away
to
with
write an
it.
excuse with how things go.
You need that scene where he's, like, on a trial of some
And,
sort.
I'm on
Or-
two. I'm of two minds.
Like, this
because
is
I feel.
wall or death, what you did.
Well, I feel like obviously that they left it ambiguous on purpose, and then the questions are why? Because of bad writing, or because they wanted to achieve a certain result? And I get the sense that they wanted to achieve this type of speculation. They wanted the audience to be asking, how the hell did he survive that? But at the same side, on the other side of the coin, I do feel just a little bit more clarification would help guide, us away from the potential plot hole of what it can look like. Or it's like, it looks like he just murdered someone in front of everyone and no one really knew.
It would have been good for building up his relationship with Allison, though. You can see a scene where she's the one that puts out a lot of her own sort of reputation.
Maybe like a scene between Alice and Viserys and the Lord Commander Harold Wesseling, where Allison tries to excuse Kristen's behavior, that as soon as he gets rejected by a woman for the first time, he murders a gay man.
Okay,
How insanely based.
Speaking of Harold, by the way, God, I was with him in that scene in episode 9. Watching
He's so cool.
He watched them all be clowns. He watches one of his king's guard just arbitrarily kill a person. Then he's like, okay, put down your sword, get off your cloak. And then it's just like, nah. And he's like, alright, you guys you suck.
Fuck that
It's
scene.
like-
I'm out.
Sucks, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
To my farm, and I'm just gonna be.
Oh, I hope he
Yeah,
comes
if
back.
I'm the only one who gives a shit around here, I'm just gonna go, I don't know. Just
I'm
do
hoping
anything
he ends
else.
up with the blacks, because that's gonna be he seems like a Barristan type, but hopefully it's not shit.
Yeah, big Barristan vibes.
So yeah, hopefully we get sort of a payoff with that. But yeah, super unsatisfying. And then Cole just seems to be devolving into he's just kind of a crazy dude. He's gonna be doing crazy things. And then to make everything worse, the last thing we know about him is Allison saying he's about to be sworn in as the Lord Commander of the
Don't let them
King's Guard. It's
regroup.
like,
Defend the objective.
really?
Just a matter of time.
Yeah, it's just
Nepotism goes hard.
That's so lame. Is it like,
even-
and you might
and
be
how
like,
they
well,
did
no,
it
it makes some sense, or
But
whatever. It's like
Alice-
it's not that. It's just really
Makes
unsatisfying.
some-
I find.
yeah, like it makes some level of sense, but how they did it is
Because yeah, from
just,
Allison's
you know.
perspective, is
5,
insanely
4,
low. Also
Yeah.
a
3,
sin. And that just makes him even
2,
more
1.
controllable.
That's the
Correct.
kind of
Mission complete.
that's the kind of John Lennon psycho that I just
Confirmed.
You gotta be
like,
careful.
You
Well,
gotta be
down.
careful with that kind of chaos around you
When,
that's obsessed with you.
when Westerling said, like, drop the sword, Cole was like, I will not, deal with, like, insults to the queen. And it's like, to the point where you'll kill the guy? Like, and then
Instantly kill the guy in front of everyone.
and she
Well,
says,
it depends on the severity of insult. There are certain insults that are worthy of death in this, context and world. Not sure that Beesbury was worthy of it, but
certainly
the
wasn't.
Well, and
whore
she-
accusation was executable offense.
That's a broad thing I kind of want to touch on. Is a lot of what we see in this show is the world being far too tolerant of death, and
Yes.
specifically of noble death.
That was one of my
It's-
big problems with the first episode at the tournament.
Yeah,